Um, Hi, hello. Today we're going to talk about the current DPS meta. It has been DPS meta since Grasp of Avarice came out, and we were blessed with the greatest Destiny exotic of all time, Gjallarhorn. Um, yeah. So, the good and bad. Rockets are DPS meta basically because of Gjallarhorn. So we have to go over Gjallarhorn. And generally, the way that Gjallarhorn works is it fires when you fire a rocket. If your teammates are nearby, then all of their legendary rockets get the same buff that Gjallarhorn gets. This buff is Wolfpack rounds. And what Wolfpack rounds is, it's whenever you shoot your rocket and it explodes, a whole bunch of tinier rockets, um, tinier tracking rockets, come from the explosion and track nearby enemies and explode upon them as well. The damage increase is substantial enough that rockets are and have been DPS meta since inception of Gjallarhorn. Only one Gjallarhorn is needed to keep the buff because the buff lasts for, I think it's 20 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. So the DPS meta is one person bring Gjallarhorn, everybody else bring the best rocket that they have. How do you know what the best rocket is? That's what this is for, right? Yeah. Alright. So bad. They're slow and clunky. Of course they are. They're rockets. They're great for ad clear, especially when they have Gjallarhorn's buff, because those little tracking rockets will go and find individual ads and blow them up. Um, yeah, not ammo efficient for ad clear. Yeah, it kind of sucks that they're not, but if you're at max bricks and you have an extra brick and you need some ads killed, just shoot the fucking rocket, dude. Rockets will handle it. Now you have what, like 4 or 5 frames? What do I have? 4 frames? Yes, I can math 4 frames. All right, aggressive. Aggressives are higher on the damage scale and have the highest blast radius. So aggressives, good. There's only two types of rockets that you want, by the way. High impact rockets. These have the high blast radius, and because of that, these are the ad clear variations, which means they're bad for boss damage. They're good for ad clear because of their high base blast radius, but I don't know if I really want to be using my rocket solely for blast radius. Precision. They have inherent tracking when you aim down sights on a single target. Otherwise, you need a perk to do this. But because of that, they're on the lower end of the damage scale as well as high impact frames, and neither one of them are worth your time if you're looking to DPS something. And then you have the adaptive frames, which are also on the higher end of damage, and they balance both blast radius and velocity, which means that you either want an aggressive frame or an adaptive frame rocket for boss damage. There, I said it. Now, in your first trait, in the first column, I'm sorry, the trait that you want there, preferably would be quick launch. It just gives you more velocity. You want the velocity so that your rocket gets there faster. I don't think it makes a huge difference, but every little bit of help counts. Alright, and column 2, impact casing. This is the exact same thing as spike grenades. We talked about in the previous video. Does the exact same thing. No need to overstate it. High velocity rounds gives you faster velocity. Faster velocity means that it goes faster. You kind of like that stuff. It's not that big a deal, but you take what you can get. And then the ones that everybody came here for, column 3. The best perk, in my opinion, would be Reconstruction. This is found, I think at this point it's exclusive to Apex Predator, which is the meta rocket from Last Wish Raid. Reconstruction doubles your magazine over time, and it also reloads your magazine over time. So yeah, it's pretty good. If you can't get reconstruction, all these other ones are about even as far as how good they are. That would be Envious Assassin, which we've gone over at length. Autoload holster, for reasons I think are obvious. You shoot one rocket, you swap the DPS with something else. You wait till that rocket reloads. You swap back to the rocket. You shoot the rocket, rinse and repeat. Demolitionist, because you can basically do the same thing you do with autoload and holster, but it just doesn't autoload. You have to throw your grenade. So you shoot rocket, throw grenade. You can shoot another rocket, right? Overflow, because it's like a more budget version of reconstruction. It does require that you walk over or pick up some form of heavy, and then you double your magazine. Not bad. I'm not mad at that. That's pretty good. Still two rockets. Clown cartridge. You're gonna have to reload the thing anyway. You might as well jam an extra rocket in there 99% of the time, right? And then field prep, mainly because it impacts your total reserves, giving you the maxed out inventory stat, which is the thing that dictates how many rockets you can hold. Also, if you crouch, you get reload speed increase, which is nice. So, pretty good. The fourth column traits, bait and switch. Yeah, bait and switch is really good, especially if you have a way to ignore reload on a rocket, because getting off 35% extra damage rockets is pretty nasty. Um, Bipod. I probably should have added bipod to the third column. There's a couple of them that'll have bipod in the third column. But anyways, bipod is interesting. I think it's better for longer phase DPS strats. But what it does is it increases your mag size to 2, and it also does what field prep does basically, and increase your inventory size. But the cost is that you have less damage. I think it's like a 20% damage decrease. Gjallarhorn's buff basically ignores that, so you're shooting regular rockets at and then you have 2 in the magazine off rip, so that's still really, really good DPS. And because you have to reload less, it's even better. Um, Especially in longer phases where you having ways to ignore reload would be harder to do for longer periods of time. Explosive light, this I think is still probably a little better than bipod, and it's easier to set up. The problem is that it's like a 25% damage increase on rockets as opposed to a 60% on grenade launchers. Because of the way it works, I think you could up this to about a 30-35 damage increase, and it would still be pretty balanced. It would also give you incentive to use auto loading holster, because I think that together would be really good. If it's assassin with explosive light would be pretty nasty as well in that case, but I digress. And then you have all your other damage perks that are relevant here, which would be surrounded, which is situational. It's more damage than all, but no, it's more damage than all the other damage perks. The problem is that you have to be surrounded. I don't even know if surrounded is like a rocket perk off the top of my head now, but if you ever get a rocket with surrounded, then it would be good in those niche scenarios where you are surrounded and you can still hit something with a rocket. Vorpal, just because it's 15% damage increase in max reload speed. What's the hate about that? And what? No, Frenzy is that. Vorpal is just a 10% damage increase, which would be like, I don't have any other damage perk. Let's just throw 10% extra damage on there. Alright, so we have 2 more of these to go, and I'll have done all of these. Then I can move on to other um, video endeavors. Well, later.